Hello, Internet. My name is Roro, and welcome to my channel. I hope everyone's having a good day. Today, I wanted to talk about something that I am constantly thinking about and mulling over in my head, but it's gotten to a point where it's a little bit more urgent in my mind. And it's a question that I ask myself pretty much every day. And it's, should I quit social media completely? Now, the first thing I need to address in order to answer this question is, why am I on social media in the first place? I'm not really a overly social person. I do have, people that I talk to regularly, but they're mostly family members and friends that I've had for a really long time that I consider family. So I don't really need social media to keep up with those people because I can, text them or message them on other platforms that aren't like as prevalent or as like in your face as something like Instagram or Twitter or TikTok or something like that. I'm not going to get a random ad for something that the algorithm wants me to buy if I'm just texting my friend. You know what I mean? And I'm also not going to get distracted by other people's content and posts when I'm trying to interact with my friend, because when I go on Instagram or Twitter or TikTok, I get so consumed by just whatever is put in front of my face, and I think that's kind of the intention of the platform, is to keep you on the platform, keep you engaged. But I didn't go on there with the intention of consuming any of that stuff. Obviously, if you're following a person, that's your choice to follow them, whatever. But there's a lot of stuff on those apps that people aren't trying to see necessarily. And of course, I know that not everybody feels this way. Some people have that discipline and that self control where they can just get on, get off, do what they need to do, quote unquote, and they don't get distracted. But I personally don't have that. I get so consumed and sucked in and just so distracted. And I guess it's probably a form of escapism or something like that, but I just can't help it when I'm on there. So maybe I have a slightly more unhealthy relationship with it than the average person to start, but I don't know. Maybe more people feel this way than I think. Maybe more people feel this way and they don't even realize it. Which perfectly leads to the next question that I need to ask myself is, how do I feel when I'm on social media? And I think this is the huge factor here for me. Now, I know if somebody posts something and it gets a bunch of likes and a bunch of reposts and comments and all that kind of stuff, that's probably going to feel pretty good. I understand that. But it's a dopamine hit. It's not a fully satisfying happiness, because it's so fleeting and it just goes away. And then you pretty much have to just keep doing that and keep striving to post stuff that gets the same reaction in order for you to maintain that feeling. And that's a lot of pressure, and that's pretty much not possible because of the way the internet works. Like, people aren't going to keep coming back necessarily because there's so much stuff out there. And if they do keep coming back, it's either because you're dedicating yourself fully to the platform and you're putting out a ton of content every day and you're sort of allowing yourself to fall into the abyss of content on the internet and just hoping for the best. And if you have something good and you're doing it consistently, eventually people will come. But that's a lot of work and that takes a lot of energy to do successfully. And unless you're really passionate about something and you really feel good about doing it and it's really fun and enjoyable, you're not going to want to keep doing that. Eventually, you're going to get burnt out. And I know for me personally, I'm an artist. I primarily make music, and I've tried so many different things over the course of the years in order to get more attention, more notoriety, more people listening to my music. And none of them have really benefited me. Probably because it was obvious that I wasn't fully passionate about making these posts. Like, I'm passionate about making my art and making my music, but everything that comes after that feels very unnatural to me and very forced. And I've never had like a really consistent stream of content that I've kept up with, you know? So it's easy for people to not pay attention because I'm not forcing them to pay attention, which is pretty much what it comes down to, is you have to just force things down people's throats in order for them to consume your content. And this whole idea just makes me feel really weird and morally wrong. And it makes me feel like I'm commodifying myself as a product that is meant to be sold, because that's what these apps are about. It's about making money, like at the end of the day, even if you are successful and you are getting a lot of engagement on your posts on any social media platform, you're not going to get any monetization from the posts themselves, most likely. Like I know Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, those are like the big ones right now in 2021 as I'm recording this. And none of those platforms have any sort of option for monetization just from the platform itself. So really what you're doing is you're making the platform money. You're not making yourself money because, like, again, for me, I'm a musician and an artist. So in order for me to make money with my music, I have to divert people off of these platforms onto either streaming platforms or somewhere where they can buy my music or download it. And if someone's watching your stuff on a certain platform, they're on that platform to be on that platform. They're not on there to watch you specifically. So getting somebody to leave a social media platform to go somewhere else to give you money is near impossible. And I know for some people it's not impossible. Either they've figured it out or they have other people helping them. But in my personal experience as an independent artist, I have not seen any benefits from posting on social media for years and years and years that I've been doing this. And I don't know what it is exactly, but for some reason, people just don't want to leave and go listen to my music. And I have no idea why, but that's just how it's always been. And that always just leads me to some level of disappointment because I have expectations that maybe I shouldn't have. And I'm putting too much focus on the results of the post instead of just making art and being happy with it. Like I said, I'm very happy when I'm making it, and I'm very passionate about creating art. I don't have any blocks in my mind. I never really have had like writer's block or anything like that because it's very easy for me to just make stuff and just be satisfied with the act of creation. But like I said, everything that comes after that, when it comes to sharing and posting, all that stuff just has never really made me feel good. And another thing that doesn't make me feel good on social media that's not related to my art is just keeping up with what's happening in the world and just knowing too many things that honestly I don't need to know. Like, it's good to be informed, it's good to keep up with things that are happening, but there's so much information that is literally put out with the intention of making you feel scared or just feel shitty or feel some sort of negative emotion. That's literally the purpose of its existence. And it doesn't matter like what your ideologies are. This type of content exists for every person. And unless you're going to do something actively to try to change it, and when I say actively, I don't mean just talking about it on the same social media platform, there's really no point for you to know it. And maybe that's a controversial opinion, but that's my personal belief. I don't think that I need to know things that are happening in other countries that are horrible because all it's going to do is make me feel bad, and I'm not going to do anything to try to change it because there's nothing that I can do to change it. And what's important to me is trying to change things that are happening in my community. That's stuff that I actually can affect and I can actually put effort into and we'll see positive change. And then that change will hopefully spread, and that's what will lead to a broader change. But that's just my personal opinion. I know everyone might not agree with that, but that leads me to why am I actually on this platform and what am I really trying to connect with? Like, what do I really want to get out of this? What's the real results that I'm trying to see? So, as I said earlier, converting people to customers, quote unquote, as artists or doing it in a way to make money, very difficult to do and almost impossible unless you really, really work hard and put a ton of effort into it and most likely burn yourself out to a point where you don't feel good. So aside from that, I think everybody just wants to feel understood. They want to feel like other people relate to them, other people connect with them. I mean, that's the whole reason that I have this channel, you know? Like I've said this before, I make these videos for myself, but I put them out for other people. And in my hope that other people will hear this and connect with it and relate to it, and then I won't feel so alone and other people won't feel so alone. And it's a healthy way for me to get my thoughts and feelings out and view them objectively at a later time so I can really know exactly what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling. Because in the moment, you get so caught up in your head, it's hard to know what's actually going on. So that leads me to my final question, which is there a healthy balance? Is it possible to be on in a healthy way? And of course, the answer is yes. But that's going to look different for everybody. That's going to look different for every person and what their goals are and what they're trying to achieve and what they're trying to get out of it. I mean, if your goal is fame and just numbers, then yeah, you have to be on all these social media platforms. You have to put yourself out there almost every day, if not every day, on every single one. If you want to, get famous and all that kind of stuff and notoriety, whatever. But if you just want to develop like a following of people that are really passionate, obviously it's going to take a lot longer to do that. But I actually think it would be better to have your own website or your own central place that's not tied to TikTok or Twitter or Instagram, because all of those things can just go away. There's tons of artists that make money on Instagram, and if Instagram just disappeared overnight, they wouldn't have a platform to have clients or customers or whoever. They would have to essentially start over from scratch. And the same applies to TikTok and Twitter and stuff. Like, you can't rely on these corporations essentially to provide you with a job. Because if you think about it like that, it seems like you're working for yourself, but you're really working for the platform, and if they go away, you don't have as much job security as maybe you think you do if you're making money somehow from these platforms, because if they go away, all of your customers and clients, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them will go away. And I think you will benefit greatly in the future if you either start an email list or start your own website or something that's more personalized and not as in your face as social media. Because then the people that come and that they're interested in what you're doing and they do decide to keep up with you, they're going to care way more about what you're doing than a person who's just randomly scrolling through social media. And these are all just ideas that I've had at this point. I haven't actually implemented any of this yet because I'm still on social media, and until very recently, I've been lying to myself that I'm playing this game correctly and that eventually it'll work. But I know deep down that's just not who I am. And I would rather put effort into something that I'm building completely on my own and that I have full control over. And even, like I said, it's going to take a lot longer, but every person that engages will be consciously wanting to engage with your content or your art or whatever you're making, your music, anything. They're going to want to do it specifically if they're coming to your specific website. And I think that is the next step for me. And the irony of all of this is this channel is pretty much anonymous. I don't link it to anything that I'm doing with my art or my music. And I don't know, maybe that'll change in the future, but right now I like having this as a separate thing. I don't want this to feel like it's something I'm trying to commodify. I really want to keep this as pure as I possibly can, and just know that I have at least one thing that I'm putting out onto the internet. I'm really sharing myself, but it feels right. It feels natural. I started doing it solely to help myself. So I really want to just try to keep that energy forever on this channel, as long as I possibly can. And who knows, maybe in the future my mind will change and I'll not want to do it anymore, or I'll want to do it differently. But as of right now, this channel has been helping me so much, just figuring out my life, that it doesn't necessarily need to be tied to anything else. It's really just me and my brain figuring it out together and then putting it out there for other people to hopefully relate to and to even give me feedback and, things that I don't notice or that I am not thinking about. So yeah, thank you to everybody who watches these videos. It really means a lot. I really, really appreciate it. And I'm really glad that these seem to be connecting with people and that it's engaging content that you want to enjoy. So if you do like it, check out some of my other videos on the channel. I'm sure there's at least one other one that you'll like. And I put out a new video every Sunday. So if you're interested, you can come back next week for a new one. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week.